Greetings, fellow YouTubers. Now, this is my carry wand that I carry on me. I've had a couple of these in my day that were really good, but they break, and shit happens, so you gotta remake them. And this is my newest remade one that I made for myself. There is a nick in the handle, like right here. So I took a couple sections of the handle off, and yeah, this fits much more comfortably in the hand, and this wand feels pretty balanced actually. Yeah. I'm wondering if I concentrate hard enough, can I get a little bit of blue energy to appear right here. See if we can make the energy green. Just like some green light up here above, like right on the tip of it. Huh. Well, if y'all saw anything on camera, let me know. But yeah, this is the one that I carry on me. I can stick it in my pocket, like right there, just like that. Made it myself. I'm good at making these. I've gotten a lot better at crafting these actually. Nice and solid. Yeah. The most time-consuming part about making a wand is waiting for the paint to dry. So I had to redo the handle just a little bit, and now the wand feels perfectly balanced. And just the energy on it. Yeah, okay, cool. If I channel my energy, now the way I test it, if I channel my energy through my wand hand into the wand and out the tip of it, and try to see if I can feel the opposite end of it, I could definitely feel something. So Okay. Right the fuck on. This right there is a nicely crafted wand. This looks like something you'd see in a movie. Yeah. My skills are getting better, that's for sure. This has definitely got a nice solid feel to it. Hmm. As you may have noticed, the right arm on my chair broke off. The thing wasn't staying on there to begin with. There's a way to fix it, but I'm not going to be able to fix it right away, so... Other than that, you know, it still functions as a nice regular chair, so... I'm not tripping out about it. It could be worse, YouTube. Most definitely, it could be worse. Well, I was making a video where I was trimming up the handle on my wand to make the wand more balanced and fit more comfortably in the hand of mine. And the video froze up, the audio continued to record, and so I lost that, but that's quite alright. So fucking redo it. You know. Excuse me. And you might get some strange looks from people if they see it sticking out of your pocket. You know. And they might look at you even more funny when you tell them, oh yeah, I practice magic. That's why I carry it in my pocket as part of it, you know. And anyone who laughs at you, any Christian who laughs at you for practicing magic is a fucking idiot, because Christians who ridicule people for practicing magic, you have to take a look at your own belief system. You believe in some talking dead guy. You believe that Jesus Christ died for your sins and then rose from the dead or some shit. Now, rising from the dead, that sounds like necromancy. And that his followers drank his blood, which turned to wine, and his flesh, which turned to bread. Which sounds an awful lot like vampirism and cannibalism. And yet, Christians want to ridicule somebody for practicing magic. That just, you know... Katy Perry got into some serious trouble a couple weeks ago because she posted a picture of the Hindu goddess, and she said, she captioned the photo, "I feel like this," on her Instagram. And the Hindu people were pissed, like, how dare you, you cannot say you feel like a god. I hear where they're coming from, but at the same time, she could have been worse. Now, as I recall, Katy Perry had her wedding in India, so she has a lot of respect for that culture and what have you, but You know, you gotta understand she's Christian. You know, she probably didn't. You know, and she probably didn't realize it at first, but after she posted it, she realized she'd get a lot of crap for it. She even herself said, you know, hey. But did she depict the Hindu goddess butt-ass naked, with a dick in her mouth, with dicks in her hands, a dick between her titties, a dick up her ass, and a dick in her vagina getting fucked and jizzed on 10 ways till Sunday? No, she didn't. And I'm not trying to be offensive to the Hindu people, I'm just making a point. That, well, you know, yeah, you know, she shouldn't have done that on Instagram, but at the same time, she could have been worse with her post. One Hindu person commented on her post, and this is what pissed me off about the whole deal. One Hindu person commented on Katy Perry's little Instagram post, "I'm sick and tired of the Hindu people getting picked on." And I'm like, oh, you're sick and tired of the Hindu people getting picked on. Oh, boo-hoo. Tell that to the millions of Muslims who get picked on because some fucking asshole pretends to be Muslim and then kills a bunch of people, and then it gives the Muslim faith a bad name. Oh no, but you're sick and tired of the Hindu people getting picked on. Tell that to the 6 million Jews who died in the Holocaust. Oh, but you're sick and tired of Hindus getting picked on. Tell that to myself and other people who practice magic, who have been being persecuted for thousands of years. But you're sick and tired of being picked on. Tell that to the victims of the Salem witch trials. Oh, but the Hindus are sick of getting picked on. I'm sure at some point every religion's been picked on at some point or another. I don't doubt this. But as somebody who practices my own branch of black magic, I have to think of myself as such, you know, and I think to myself, you know, it can be somewhat fascinating to at least brush up on the basics of other religions, so you at least get a insight into what they think and study. So when someone's challenging you to an intellectual conversation about religious practice, you can theoretically look at them and be like, well, religion itself may be different in the beliefs, but it's theoretically the same principle. A belief in something and a chance for people to get together and find friendship and, you know, getting together and sharing the same ideology and beliefs. You know what I'm saying? And that's what religion really is. It doesn't matter if you're a Satanist or a Christian. You know what I'm saying? Because you're still identifying with a deific force, whether it be satanic or Christian. And, you know, Christians gather in Mass and pray to Sky God and Jesus and all that bullshit. And Satanists get together and they pray to Satan in Mass and they get together. So really the only difference is the deific force you're praying to. And to tell you the truth, YouTube, paganism was the very first belief ever established on this planet. People discovered that Mother Earth had many secrets in her remedies and in her weather. Way before drugstores and pharmaceuticals were ever discovered, humans had to discover that there were plants you could use to remedy yourself if need be. And Christians, Jews, and Islamic faith, the Christian, Islamic, and Jew faith, okay? Judaism, Christianity, and Islamic faiths have all ripped off some portion of paganism and adopted it as their own. And then it got twisted into their own crazy ideology. And even though Christians and Muslims are completely different, you notice that in the Old Quran, Allah's kind of fucked up. In the Old Testament, God's kind of a dick. But then in the New Testament and the New Quran, their deific forces are written off as much nicer people. And wouldn't that be some shit if these suicide bombers get to heaven and there's Allah fucking smoking a fat cigar, fucking some whore 10 ways till Sunday, and he's not even married. And then when he gets done, he fucking eats a shit ton of bacon and says, "Oh, you martyred yourself for me? I'm a peace-loving deity." Fuck you, dumbass. You got screwed. And as somebody who practices his own belief, I find the idea of some unseen sky god testing his faith in you every day, you know, stupid. Like the idea of this almighty being that cares for his so-called children. Yeah, there's children in Africa who are starving. You know, there's children everywhere dying of privation, starvation, disease, famine, neglect. There's children in the Catholic Church that get molested, and what good is Sky God if he can't protect his own children in his own fucking house of worship? You know, and I generally, well, I'll discuss this for a YouTube video to kind of make a point here. But in the outside world, if I'm harassed by a Christian, if they come up to me and they say, "Hey, would you like to hear about Jesus Christ today?" If I very politely say, "No, thank you," and if they see the wand handle sticking in my pocket, all I gotta say is I practice black magic and leave it at that. And that's usually enough for 98% of them to fuck off. This one time I was walking to the convenience store to get a pack of smokes, and this Christian couple pulls over in their van, and they looked at me and the group of friends that I had walking with me, and they said, "Would you like to hear about Jesus Christ tonight?" And I very politely said, "No thank you, I practice black magic." I was just supposed to pull out my wand too and show them it, but then they're like, right before I said, right after I said, "Have a good night," and I was about ready to pull out my wand and show them it, but then before I had a chance to, they're like, "Thanks, you too," and they drove out of there faster than hell's bells. And it wasn't this wand that I have right in front of me that I hold in my hand. It was a different one that I had at the time. Excuse me, I farted. No, but a wand can be a very powerful tool in the right hands. YouTube. Quite often, each wand has its own flow to it. Each wand has its own flow of energy to it. Let's see how the flow on this one's doing. Ooh. That's nice and solid. I dig that. It's got a nice flow to it. The balance on it is really nice too. That's a finely tuned wand right there. Admiring my handiwork here. This is sanded. I think I used the last of my sandpaper to make sure I still had the magic touch to making these. And, yeah. So I know when I get more sandpaper and I go to make J.K. Rowling's wand, I know it'll turn out nice. Because, well, I had to make myself a new wand anyway, for when I walk around stuff, you know. And this is a solid little wand, I'm digging it. Well, it's not little by any means, this has definitely got some length to it, but this definitely has got a nice weight to it. This was made out of a stick that I found here in town, you know. Anybody can buy a wand online, but taking a stick that you find in your surroundings and crafting a wand out of it, that's, you know. The word witchcraft means so much more than just crafting magic. You know, you're also crafting spells, crafting your own wands, crafting potions and what have you. And if you think about it, chemistry is a form of potion brewing. If you think about this, just for 1 second, YouTube. Potions, you know, chemistry is basically potions without herbalism added to it, if you think about this logically for a second. And if people were to tell you or ask you what's the difference between a Methodist, a Baptist, a Christian, and a Methodist, you know, like a Methodist, a Baptist, a Christian, and all these other different branches of Christianity, basically. And there really is no difference other than, you know, the way they do their services. That's the only fucking difference. And ain't that some shit? Like, you got a Christian, a Baptist, and a Methodist. They're all three basically the same beliefs, just they're preached a little bit differently. And a lot of them will disagree with each other on how they should properly worship God. So if someone were to ask you, what's the difference, you know, seriously, what is the difference between a Catholic, a Methodist, a Baptist, and a Christian? Between the four of them, nothing significant really, just in the way they worship God, you know. Now, even though the pentagram is a satanic symbol, it is also a pagan symbol. And paganism and Satanism are different because Satanists will strictly deal with Satan, whereas pagans will involve Satan if they're doing a dark spell. There's a difference. Yes. But wands and magical discussion aside, you know, when trolls talk shit about Fun Size Felicia, they're just jealous that they don't have fans that send them stuff. And that's the honest truth right there. Yep. And I've personally witnessed things myself that make me a true believer in magic. If I tune my mind to the right frequency, YouTube, if I tune my mind to the right frequency, I've been known to make shit move. I remember one time when I was sitting at a table and I had this empty glass next to me, and it moved a couple of feet, like not a feet, but like a couple inches beside me, like that. And I was staring at it long enough, and it just, you know what I'm saying. So I've personally witnessed this myself. I've witnessed telepathic abilities if I tune my mind to the right frequency, which I think is pretty cool. Now, I study a combination of spiritual meditation, Tai Chi, telekinesis, electrokinesis, my own form of black magic, and a bit of Wiccan kind of just mixed into one, you know what I'm saying? All that mixed into one, and it works for me. I got my own belief system, it works for me, you know. I don't try to convince people to join, but whenever I've had a Jesus freak come up to me and try to convince me, I have techniques that I could use that would shatter their national way of thinking completely, and it would make them question everything that they believe in entirely. And normally when I get approached by a Bible-thumping asshole, I try to be polite and tell them, fuck off, I don't believe in that shit. I have my own thing going. But if they're persistent, that's when I become a dick. And questioning their faith by asking the obvious question. Okay, you say you worship God and that God loves all his children. Yet where's your almighty sky God when his children are getting molested in a Catholic church? Or when his children are dying of hunger, starvation, disease, poverty, abuse, and neglect? And I suppose you're going to tell me that, oh, God works in mysterious ways. What the fuck ever, dude. And if you read some of the so-called Gospel on God, a lot of it you see God's being a huge dickhead to test your faith in him, killing off herds of sheep. Now, if you actually read the Bible, Satan only killed 10 people, and God killed a shit ton more. And yet Satan's viewed as the bad guy here. Yeah. Just pointing that out. In the Satanic Bible it says, thou shalt not rape a woman, the sex must be consensual. And yet, Venom t-shirt, and yet Satan is viewed as the bad guy. That's kind of fucked if you ask me. Though religion may differ in its beliefs, one thing that religion has in common besides, you know, a way for people to get together and share their same beliefs and worship peacefully, you know. Other than that, the other thing that religion has in common, despite there being so many different religions, is that extremist assholes have ruined it for religion for thousands and thousands of years. You get a Christian who's very ignorant against Muslims and has severe Muslim phobia. You could point out to that kind of Christian that Christians back in the day would persecute people for witchcraft and shit like that. And they would argue, oh, well, not all Christians are like that. Yeah, well, not all Muslims are like that, you know, and that really opens their mind up for a second, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a Muslim, but, the Muslims just built this huge ass clock tower at the center of their shrine or whatever. And I'm like, that's what's up. That's a cool looking clock tower too. I dig it. There's actually a worshiping room at the very top of it too. Getting into it requires a lot of access. Yeah. Excuse me. But I could not be Muslim or Jewish, because both religions say you can't eat bacon. And in Muslim faith, you can't smoke tobacco. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? It's bullshit. If I could describe life in 3 words: bullshit, unpredictable, and chaotic. This unseen force that dictates the laws and physics of life and everything around us. You got the universe, and then you got the cosmos. And the cosmos is like the universe's supercomputer. Every thought that's ever been said, everything that's ever been done, every conceivable thing ever thought of or even conceived of possible, from here to the universe and the end and back, is stored in the cosmos. And the thing about the universe is that the universe is like energy in a sense. It is ever more growing. The universe is interesting because it's never ending and continues to expand. One human could not circle the entire universe and back and live to tell the tale. You know what I'm saying? In fact, they've discovered solar systems identical to ours, right next to ours. Which means when this entire solar system craps out because of some gigantic explosion or whatever, all the energy collected from this solar system gets thrown into the next one, and all this happens again. That's one theory. And you think of time and energy like a VCR, and a tape in a VCR, and rewinding it, you know. Which basically means that if energy cannot be destroyed or created, as Albert Einstein theorized it, then theoretically speaking, when Mother Earth goes kaboom after the sun's been exploded for a couple hundred years and the last humans died off, and Mother Earth explodes due to the years of pollution and being lived on, and the Earth's core, you know what I'm saying? All the energy from the years that Mother Earth's been on the solar system, all the energy is just floating around, you know. So think about it. It would be like, people theorize about the Big Bang Theory. But what if the Big Bang is the cause of Mother Earth exploding, and then the energy of that explosion is so dense, and the energy behind all the life forces that have come and gone on Mother Earth leading up to that explosion is so severe that it literally, when it explodes, the energy is so severe that theoretically speaking, it's like hitting rewind on that VCR tape. And the explosion then, once it stops, causes it to happen again, but this time, instead of destroying, it creates. I don't know, that's just a theory I had. I don't claim to be some scientific fucking genius, I just have my fucking theories. Goddamn pipe stand's clogged. And what if this explosion happens so many times that eventually that little solar system collapses on itself and all the energy has to be transferred to an identical solar system and the process starts all over again? So how many explosions do we get before, before it all has to be transferred to another solar system? Which would explain multiple realities and shit like that. Now, if you cannot destroy energy or make it, where does it go when you die? That would explain reincarnation, wouldn't it? This sudden feeling of deja vu, like you've been there before, even though it may be your first time visiting that location. Uh, 37 minutes, that's not too long. Which means that if the Big Bang was caused by Mother Earth exploding from years of age, and then the explosion was, and the energy behind it was great enough to cause it to repeat itself, but in reverse, which then causes everything that's already happened to happen again, which means everything that has happened will happen, everything that hasn't happened will happen, and everything that already has happened will happen again. Which means the dinosaurs would be reborn and then go extinct again, and etc., etc. If that crazy theory of mine is true, which I'm not claiming it is, this is just a theory based off of what science has already discovered. There we go, that pipe was clogged. Holy shit. And here's the kicker of it, YouTube. Because I'm not some fucking scientist, because I haven't gone to college to get some fancy schmancy degree, most people would take my theories as just that. Some random autistic theories on how the fucking universe, or at least the solar system, works to some degree. And they found, they found water on Mars. You know what I'm saying? So what if, what if humans lived on other planets in past lives, but those planets are worn out to the point from exploding and being recreated so much that they've just simply become different planets. And the only remnants that we have left to know of this is by finding water on different planets. And you look at Pluto, which has now been reclassified as a planet. It's just this ball of ice, which is technically water. Or what if humans are an ancient race descended from aliens? You know what I'm saying? You know, there's a lot of crazy theories out there. And what if aliens are trying to tell us this through the crop circles? Crop circles. You know, Google Plus and all its circles, and they have this movie out called The Circle starring Emma Watson. They have the Arctic Circle. Yeah. Sometimes they say things happen for a reason. That old expression, things happen for a reason. And the reason could be is because it's already happened and you may not realize it yet. Which means you have virtually limitless realities which are controlled on and based upon each individual person's actions. Each individual person's personal choice of actions, which leads to a consequence and something happening in that person's reality. Which means we have this unwritten future about us that we don't even know what could happen, what lies out there ahead of us. Our whole lives are passing before our eyes with each and every ticking second. My life and your life are passing before your eyes as you watch this video, as I record this video, you know what I'm saying? That's basically the grasp of it all. Well, this video is long enough. This is King Cobra JFS with another video. Thanks for watching. Catch y'all later.